Welcome to the Avail Leadership Podcast, where our goal is to help you take your leadership to the next level. My name is Virgil Sierra, and today we're jumping into an intriguing conversation with author, editor, and publication expert Javier Cornejo. We'll be discussing his newest book release, The Bridge, and the key principles within that can help listeners cross the bridge from possibility to reality. Let's get started. My name is Virgil Sierra. I'm your Avail media host. I pastor a beautiful church called Vertical Church. And one of the things that we love at our church in South Florida is resources that equip us and empower us and challenge us to grow. And so today, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have this conversation. Again, Avail, we are a Christian leadership brand, a leadership brand for the Christian leader, and we want to develop resources. Every month, new resources are coming out. By the way, this is the book of the month. This is the resource of the month. I'm going to tell you how you can get this, plus the other things that are connected. A lot of cool upgrades that you can have along with The Bridge, which is the book. And so we're going to start this live call webinar with Javier Cornejo. The book is The Bridge, From Possibility to Reality. From Possibility to Reality. By the way, Javier he's Hispanic. He's from Ecuador. And the book is also in Spanish. We'll talk about that as well. El Puente, the bridge. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. I'm confident that everybody is going to be able to learn and grow. And let me just say something real quick about Javier. Javier is one of those guys that just brings light everywhere he goes. He's one of those guys that brings inspiration. Every time I have a conversation with him, there's always encouragement, but there's always like a push to get better, a push to say, you could take a next step. He's written some amazing books already, but I think this is the one that's kind of hot right now in his heart because it's new. It just came out, The Bridge. Javier Cornejo has excelled in the publishing world for more than 15 years. He's authored numerous titles. We'll talk about some of those. And this most recent work, The Bridge, takes readers on a journey of applicable steps that will help them cross from possibility to reality. That's a bridge we all want to cross. And so I am honored to be able to introduce a friend of our Avail family, an honored guest who is going to bring a great message to us today, from possibility to reality. Javier Cornejo, we are so excited to have you with us here on the Avail live call for the month of May in 2021. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, Virgil, I'm so happy to be here with you guys. It's such an honor. This is a place that a lot of my friends, my heroes have spoken of. So it's really, really, really something amazing to be here with you guys today. I'm so excited.
Javier, we are super excited about your new book, which we're going to talk about right now, but we're also really proud of you. Man, just a new book. It's kind of like a baby that's born because it's something that was inside of you. And now, man, it's the hard months, even just like years of work and what God has been doing in your life to get it going. We're excited about that. Before we kind of get into the book, I would love for you to maybe just take a couple of minutes, Javier, so that people get to know a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, what you do. And then I want to jump into this book, The Bridge.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Cuenca, Ecuador, been in the States for 11 years. And currently I'm the Spanish director at Whitaker House. I have worked with several authors. I have been involved in more than 300 books that have been published. And it's been a really, really nice journey. Publishing a book is always amazing. So I think if I have worked on over 300 titles, I think I have like 300 kids. That's the way I see it. But, it's just been amazing because working at a publishing house and working with authors that are thinkers, it just makes you grow. You cannot be a small person when you're surrounded with big people. And so that's kind of like the journey I have taken and where my journey has taken me. And that's where I am today.
I love that. I mentioned a little bit earlier. You are from Ecuador, hablas español.
Ese es mi primer idioma.
Ese es tu primer idioma. That's your first language. And that's also a beautiful thing that God has given you the ability now to bring a message to people, both in English and in Spanish. Let's talk about your new book, here, the bridge from possibility to reality. That's what this conversation is all about. Tell us a little bit about the journey of writing this book, The Bridge, and kind of where these principles originated from. I know there's people that are connected right now, and there's more people connecting. Everybody, as we're going along this conversation, if you have a question you want to bring into Javier's attention a little bit further along, we'll get to those. So you can use the Q&A tab. But Javier, why don't you talk to us about this story, about writing the book, The Bridge? How did this come about?
Sure. Well, thank you for that again. And, it's just a very interesting story for me because it was just a few months after I had finished writing a book called The Story Within You. And I was so burnt out. I was like, my mind was like blank. I have promised myself that I will never write another book. And it was kind of those promises that you want to fulfill them. I said, I'm never writing again. This is it. Like I was so tired. I was mentally exhausted. I have put my soul into paper and I couldn't think anymore. And all of a sudden I am reading this story of this Israeli commander named Joshua. And while I'm reading this story, I see Joshua gets to the walls of Jericho. And, by that time, Israel was they were so good in battle. They have gone through so many things. They were a powerful army. But then all of a sudden they stopped in front of Jericho. And this is what surprised me is that he didn't march into battle. He waited till he had a strategy. So while I was reading this one sentence started burning inside of me. It was this crazy thing that was just burning inside. And it was just simply this: never go to war without a strategy. So I had that burning inside of me. And about a month later, I was watching, I'm going to ruin a movie for all of you guys. So about a month later, I was at the movies watching this movie called Creed 2. And if you've seen the movie, great. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to ruin it for you. And so where Creed fights this guy named Drago, and this guy is huge, and he just beats him up. And then he decides that he has to go on a rematch with the guy, and his trainer is Rocky. And he's talking with Rocky, and he says these words to him. He says, I don't even know how I lost. And it was Rocky's response that made me come alive with this book, because he said, your mind wasn't in the right place, and your natural style doesn't work against a guy that big. He didn't tell him you will never win that battle. He never told him that battle is too strong for you. That guy is too strong for you. He only said your natural style doesn't work against a guy that big. So this took me to this exact moment where I thought that talent can take us to places that can only be won with strategy. And so seeing these words that Rocky was saying, plus that never go to war without a strategy, it just started burning inside of me in a way that I couldn't contain it anymore. And I realized that what burns inside of you was meant to illuminate the world around you. So at that point, I realized that I don't write because my mind has something to say. I write because my heart has something to share. And that's just, I couldn't keep it anymore. And so that's how this book came to be.
I love it. I think it's so true. I think sometimes we assume, especially those of us maybe read a book or see a new book like yours that's come out, we assume, oh yeah, this was planned out, or this is, it must be something that they were planning or thinking about. But what you're saying is there's a moment where something clicks. There's a moment where something grabs your heart, and then something inside of you has to come out, right? So
it was a moment where something ignited in my heart. That's the word I want to choose, because I'm telling you, nothing has ever burned inside of me that way. Mm-hmm. I knew I had to write again. The moment that it ignited inside of me, I knew I had to write. So it just, that was the exact moment.
Love it. I love it. Just want to give a shout out. I see Ofelia Perez. I see Claudia Prada also right now connected. We have people connected, Javier. We have people leaning in. Here's my next question. And everybody, we're talking about Javier Cornejo's new book, The Bridge, From Possibility to Reality. Okay. Can you give us a summary of The Bridge? Okay. A book usually has chapters, and kind of a heart and a theme. Can you give us a summary of The Bridge, and what does it equip people who are going to read it? What does it equip them for in life?
Sure. I mean, the short summary of the book is that it's a book about a strategy. Because I believe that strategy should be used on everything. The strategy should be utilized so we can reach our dreams and fulfill our deepest longings. And so the book is all about strategy. What does it take? Like I was saying, I was I was tired to see that people believe that the only reason they don't reach the place they want in life is because of lack of talent. But it's never about talent. It's always about a strategy. Wow. If you see the Olympic athletes, the line that separates the first and the second place is almost a line that you cannot see because it's not talent. They all train really hard. They all have gone through like hell to make it to the Olympics. But what makes them a winner is never talent, is always a strategy. So like I said, the book is all about strategy. What is your strategy to achieve your goals and to fulfill your dreams? And I realized that 80% of people never fulfill their goals. That means 8 out of 10 people will never reach their dreams. They'll never achieve their goals.
8 out of 10 people?
8 out of 10.
Wow.
8 out of 10. And like but it's not because they don't have talent. It's just because they don't have a strategy. Because with the right strategy, it's not about talent. With the right strategy, you can cross any bridge. You can see new places. You can see new views. You can climb new mountains. You can fly to new places. It is all a matter of strategy. So the book is about that. What are the elements for a strategy? And so that's what the book's all about. I
love that. So, I think when you say that, Javier, somebody can kind of miss it, but 8 out of 10 people never reach their goals, or we could probably say fulfill their potential. You talk about from possibility to reality. So and this book is called The Bridge. So I guess we would say that 8 out of 10 people don't cross that bridge from possibility to reality. You talk about strategy. Let's go a little deeper there, specifically on strategy. How would you define strategy, and what does that mean as far as pursuing my dreams, my goals? Talk to us strategy.
So for me, strategy are thought out steps to cross the bridge to my desired destination.
That's good. Say that again.
For me, strategy are thought out steps to cross the bridge to my desired destination.
That's good.
Whatever it may be. So here's the cool thing. It doesn't matter how small your goal is or how big and complex it may seem. It's always a matter of a strategy.
Right.
So one of the things that I love about that is, have you ever realized that the greatness of a GPS is not that it only tells you the place where you're going, but before it tells you where you're going, it has to know exactly where you are.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you're close or if you're far, it's still going to give you a route, right?
Right.
So that's strategy. A strategy finds you where you are so you can connect to the place where you want to go.
That's good.
And so that's where strategy begins. So the strategy is the missing step that many of us don't give to cross the bridge. And so that's the only reason why it was a possibility in our minds, never became a reality in our lives. Because strategy is the bridge between wishing and achieving.
This is really good, Javier. I'm curious, and maybe you address it in the book, but this can apply personally, right, to a person. Would you say this can also apply to an organization or a business or a ministry?
Of course. This was taught, the way I wrote the book, the way I talk about it is for you can achieve it as an individual or you can achieve it as an organization. Because you will see one of the chapters is always about people. And it doesn't matter if you're in an individual search or an organizational search or pursuit, you need a team. Because if you can reach your goals by yourself, if you can reach your dreams by yourself, your dreams are too small. Your goals are too small. And so you always need people around you that will help you reach that place.
Yeah, I think, we hear that a lot. One of the guys that both of us really admire, Dr. Sam Chen, talks a lot about that. He goes into that. And I think there's something there. You mentioned a cool line about, never go to war without a strategy, right? You kind of use that the example of the art of war and famous military tactics in the book, right? So can you expand a little bit on some of those examples and how you draw from kind of wartime examples and connect that to strategy?
Sure. So that's pretty cool that you asked that. So when I was working on this book, I started reading again The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And he's like the greatest strategist from China that ever lived. And but after that, here's a more interesting thing I found. After that, I was looking for other books on strategy, and I found this book called The Five Rings. And it was wrote by a famous samurai called Miyamoto Musashi, who fought 61 duels, never lost one. And he said the winning is always due to the virtue of a strategy. And so I kind of submerged myself into the strategy. But then I realized this. When Joshua was fighting, when Joshua was thinking about war, he was a strategist. So I was looking into what are those war strategies that will help. And God is always thinking about strategy. If you want to talk about a master strategist, God is the greatest strategist of them all. And so, but when I was thinking about that, then here's the thought that came to my mind. Life is a battlefield between what we want and what we don't want. Life is a battlefield between what I fear and what I want to conquer. Life is a battlefield between enduring and quitting. So if life is a battlefield for our dreams, if life is a battlefield for what I want, I had to use illustrations of war. Because every day that we wake up is a war. So every day you don't feel the best, but you got to go to war with it.
Yeah.
Every day you don't want to give your best, but you got to wage war against it. And pursuing what you want, pursuing what you dream, it's a war. So life is a battlefield. So thinking of life as a battlefield, I really, really, really needed to connect the bridge with war. Because again, we live in a time and age where everything is fighting against us. And so we need to be able to be master strategists so we can win the war for our dreams and for our deepest longings.
You know, I think as you're talking, I'm thinking even more, Javier. And I think it's cool because what you're talking about, it's kind of like the cover. The cover, you see a warrior, right? You see a warrior who's prepared. You can tell he's got a strategy. I love this cover, by the way. By the way, if you just connected recently, we're talking about The Bridge, Javier Cornejo's new book, From Possibility to Reality. And you're talking about a subject that's so true, but I'm kind of connecting 2 points now. You said a little bit earlier that 8 out of 10 people never cross the bridge from possibility to reality, right? And now you're talking about how the truth is that life is like a battlefield. And I think that's the connection, right? Do you think, is it that people give up? Is it hopelessness? Is it, are we missing more role models? Like, what are some of the reasons why people have a hard time crossing this bridge?
Well, the main reason is the reason I wrote this book. The main reason is the lack of strategy.
Right.
So for example, if you sit down to play a board game like Monopoly or Risk, since the moment you sit down, since the moment you throw the dice, you know in which spaces you want to fall in. You know you want to buy the railroads. You know where you want to go. You know what you want to buy. You know how you're thinking of a strategy. Same thing in Risk. It depends which country you're in, which continent you get. You're thinking about how you're going to win. But here's the thing. We have a strategy for board games, but for the most important game of them all, which is the game of life, we don't have a strategy. And so for me, strategy is not a matter of winning and losing. For me, strategy is a matter of life and death, because strategy is the place where I give my dreams the opportunity to come alive, where I give my goals the opportunity to come alive. So I think the main reason people don't reach their goals is, or they fulfill their dreams, is not because of the lack of it's not the lack of talent. Mm-hmm. It's not the lack of passion. It's just the lack of direction. It's the lack of a strategy. How do I get there? That's the main question. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. Like I was talking before, it doesn't matter if it's a small goal or a big and complex dream. The question is always the same. How are you going to get there?
Yeah. That's good. Hey, everybody in the chat, can you just type out strategy in capital letters if you're on Facebook or on Zoom? Let me just hear that you guys are hearing. This is great conversation, because here's what I'm hearing, Javier, from your book, The Bridge, right? The bridge. And the bridge you're talking about is the bridge that people need to walk from possibility to reality. Most people never cross that bridge. Come on. Thank you, Steph, for typing in strategy. I see you guys on Facebook too. Most people never cross that bridge from possibility to reality. And you're talking about the main thing. It's not that they can't. It's not that they don't have the ability. It's not that they, it's not that it's like, oh, this is impossible. It's specifically that there's not a strategy, right? Now, I want to talk about one of the subjects you talk about in the book. That's you write about the need for clarity. Okay, can you talk a little bit more in depth about how clarity kind of is part of this puzzle piece of strategy and crossing the bridge from my potential and my possibilities to actually making it happen?
Sure. So there's this story I tell in the book. I was driving from Cuenca, Ecuador to Guayaquil, Ecuador. And to do so, you have to go through the Andes Mountains. And while you're going through the mountains, when there's clouds, you cannot see the mountaintops. But when it's clear, you can see a volcano called the Chimborazo, which is the farthest point from the top of the earth to the center of the world. Is the farthest point. But see, you can only see it when there's no clouds. So here's the thought that came to my head. When clouds dissipate, when the skies are clear, peaks appear. When the skies are clear, peaks appear.
Yeah.
When clouds dissipate, mountaintops emanate.
I like that.
So clarity really, what clarity really does is that it shows you the place where you want to go. It shows you clearly. And once you see it clearly, then you can think clearly. You can imagine the path that will take you there. But if it is cloudy, how are you going to see the path? You can imagine it. You can dream about it. You can think about it. But if you cannot see it clearly, you cannot plan it. You cannot plan it cleverly. So you always have to be able to have clarity on your strategy. You got to know exactly where you want to get. Because if you don't know where you want to go, any road can take you there. If you don't know where you want to go in life, any road will take you there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have clarity on your dreams, when you have clarity on your goals, you start imagining, you start thinking, how do I get there? So the question is always, where do I want to go and how do I get there? So that's what gives you clarity. So a lot of us say things like, I want to lose weight, but we never put a goal. We never say, I want to lose 50 pounds.
Right.
I want to lose 2 pounds. And strategy depends and hinges on your clarity. Because you want to lose 50 pounds, the strategy is going to be completely different if you want to lose 2. Same thing with saving money. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to spend less instead of thinking I'm going to save more. And so if you can do both, you're even smarter. So you got to be wiser in the way you think. But in order to be wise, to give the steps that will take you to your destiny, you need to think clearly. You got to see it clearly so you can see what the path is. So that's what clarity does in strategy. You got to know exactly where you want to go. You got to know exactly where you want to reach. And the problem was, and I know all of us are in the search of something better. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who you are. You're in the search of something better. The question is, can you actually define what that better is? And once you define it, ideas will come so you can cross that bridge.
I have a question, Javier, that maybe somebody might be thinking right now, right? And it's, hey, I know that there's possibilities in me, and I want to get there, but I don't know where to start. I want clarity, but I just don't know. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do first. What are some thoughts that come to your mind? What would you say to that person who says, I want to walk the bridge, right? I want to go from my possibility to reality, but I just don't know what to do first or where to go. What are some thoughts you could say to that person?
Well, the first thing is, like I was saying, is what do you want? If you don't even know what you want, then it changes the conversation. If you don't know what you want, start going out, start doing new things, start trying new stuff, start reading books, start hanging out with people. If you don't know what you want, but if you have a desire of being someone inspiring, if you have a desire to write a book, if you have a desire to do something better, so in that case, you have to narrow it down. So one of the concepts I speak on the book is that for me, one of the biggest enemies of success is not the lack of strategy, is not the lack of opportunity, it's too many opportunities. Because each opportunity will rob you the strength to pursue one opportunity. And we don't have the strength to pursue all opportunities. So if I want to push a table from here to the front, I can do it with all my strength. But if I want to push a table this way, and then there's another one that I want to push this way, I cannot do it with all my strength. So for me, one of the things in order for you to be able to cross the bridge and to think clearly is to focus first. Which opportunity I'm gonna try to find first.
That's good.
And one of the things is that we will always have more good ideas than execution capacity. So it doesn't matter the size of your organization. It doesn't matter if it's a personal goal. You always have more good ideas than execution capacity. If you think about it, most dreams and more goals die in execution than they do in idea. Because ideas are easier to get. But what is harder to do is execution. So the execution is an art. So the first advice I could give is focus on one thing, walk to that goal, and from there you start deciding what is the next bridge. Because here's the reality of life is that there's always going to be a new bridge to cross, a new mountain to climb, a new view to see, new horizons to explore, new goals to conquer. So there's always something new, but go one step at a time.
I love that. Hey, I want to just take a moment and acknowledge some amazing people that are connected. Dr. David, watching from Ellenton, Florida. Thank you for being here. I see Renwick from Guyana, South America. It's great to have you. I see Steph. I see Chato Calderon. Qué bueno tenerte. It's good to have you here. I see Todd Brown, Robin Fuller. Robin said, makes sense. And here on Facebook, I was looking a little earlier. Jeff also said, sky is clear, peaks appear. That's a great point. There's a lot of good one-liners in there, Javier. Hey, I'm curious because I'm bilingual like you. Were you able to find good one-liners in both languages for those little one-liners of just wisdom and insight?
I had to work really hard. And so there is some lines in the English version that are not in the Spanish version. And there is some lines in the Spanish version that are not in the English version. But I had to work really hard for it.
Welcome to our world. Those of you who only speak one language or don't, it's a tricky thing doing both. Javier, you do a great job of that. I want to bring up a subject that's one of the chapters that somebody might think it doesn't make sense. Okay. And by the way, we're talking today about The Bridge. It's Javier Cornejo's new book, From Possibility to Reality. It's awesome. In a few moments, after another question or two, we're going to talk about how you can get this, possibly for free or for a discounted price, depending on if you're already on Avail. But Javier, this is a book about strategy. However, you have a whole section dedicated to pain. Why in a book about strategy would you write about pain?
I actually love that question. But here's the thing. You got to understand that any dream that you want to pursue is going to cost you something. Any goal that you want to pursue in life is going to cost you something. And when something costs you, it brings pain to your life.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that even when you're doing your strategy, you got to think, am I willing to pay the price to fulfill my dreams? And am I willing to pay the price to fulfill my goals? And that price is pain, because you have to do the pain of discipline. You have to go through the pain of the path. The path has pain on its own. But you gotta know that the higher you want to climb, the higher you want to reach, the harder it's gonna be to get there. And so many times you're gonna bleed, you're gonna cry, you're not gonna want to get there. But see, pain is part of a strategy. So whenever you're thinking strategy, whenever you're thinking about your goals, and whenever you're thinking about your dreams, you gotta understand that's gonna cost you something. Yeah. You gotta know that there's gonna be pain in the path. And so when you think this way, the moment you face it, you already knew it since the beginning. And that's what makes you a master strategist, is that you knew there was gonna be pain down the road. You cannot be a war commander and send your army to war and expect them not to have any deaths, any casualties. You cannot send them there. You know there's going to be pain. So it's the same thing for us. When you're dreaming of, the goals you're trying to reach, they're going to cost you something. So the question is always, Am I willing to pay the price of the pain? And something I learned from Bishop Bronner and from Sam Chan is this: either you expand your capacity to tolerate pain, or you shrink down your dreams to the pain you're willing to tolerate.
Wow.
Because anything you pursue in life is going to cost you something.
Right.
So for me, that has to be a part of a strategy. You got to know since the beginning that it's going to hurt. So that way, when hurt comes, you already knew it was going to be there. So you know what? You will be prepared to face it.
So are you saying that I have to go through pain? I want to go, Javier, I want to go from possibility to reality. I want to walk on the bridge, but I want it to be pain-free. That's not possible?
But you know that, like, even if you don't try to walk, you're still going to face pain.
That's true.
So here's something amazing about all of this, is that it doesn't matter if you pursue your goal or not, you're still going to find pain. Because if you don't find it, pain will find you. So let's think about it this way. Let's say you were never going out in your life before 2019. You were in your house working and minding your own business. And all of a sudden, coronavirus appeared. COVID appeared. Even so, pain came to you, even if you didn't win after your dreams. So if I'm going to feel pain, I'd rather feel them. I'd rather face it in the path to my dreams. If I'm going to face pain, if I'm going to war against pain, I'd rather find it in the route to my goals and to my dreams.
That's such a good point. It's almost, pain is inevitable, but sometimes it's through our deepest pain that we have our greatest growth and greatest victories. As hard as that is to understand and believe, that's such a good word. Hey, everybody, we're talking about The Bridge. This is Javier Cornejo's new book, The Bridge, From Possibility to Reality. It is a book on strategy, because the bridge to get from possibility to reality, the bridge is that strategy. It's really you got to walk that bridge to get there. Before I go to the next question, Javier, I want to mention, people are putting some great comments here. Steph said that John Maxwell says anything in life worth having is uphill. Yeah, you got to walk through it. Robin says this is really good. If you have a question that you want us to put into the conversation, use that Q&A tab there on the Zoom menu bar. If you're on Facebook, we'll try to keep an eye on that as well while I go to the next question. But make sure you put any questions you have for Javier. Javier, here's my question regarding, you talk about specifically about time, about mastering your time, how this is part of walking that bridge, getting from where I am to where I want to be, to where I'm currently at, to where I know God wants me to go, right? And getting to that bridge, this aspect of managing and mastering time. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. To be a master of strategy, you got to be a master of time. There's no question about that. And so when I talk about time in strategy, there's two uses that I give time on that. So too many people will give up on their dreams because since the beginning, they didn't thought how long it was going to take them.
Wow. So
that's why they give up. So when you're doing a strategy, you always have to calculate time. You got to understand, how long is this going to take me? And again, too many of us give up simply because we never calculated the time since the beginning. And one of the examples I was talking with a friend of mine who went through medical school. And I asked him this question, we went this conversation, and he did some specialties and all that. And while we were on the conversation, I asked him, how long did it take you? And he said, 14 years. And I'm like, 14 years of studying? That's insane. That's crazy. But see, here's the next thing he said. He said, a medical doctor, before he starts studying, he knows that the whole career, if you do a subspecialty, is going to take you anywhere from 13 to 18 years. So he said, so when you're in the middle of it, you know how long it's going to take you. So you don't give up on your goals when you know how long it's going to take you. But the problem is you never calculated how long it was going to take you. And from my experience, things are always going to cost us more than what we expected. And they're going to take longer time than what we wanted to take. That's just my experience on these things. Everything is going to cost us more, and it's going to take more time than what we expected. So if you can calculate time, you won't give up because you know how far along you are in the way. So that's one of uses of time that a master strategist has to have. The other use of time that a master strategy needs to have is there anything in this time that can help me reach my goals and my dreams faster? So we live in a time and age where there's new ideas, where there's new classes, where there's new things, there's new tools, there's new weapons that can help us cross the bridge, that can help us win that battle. So the question is always, is there anything new I can learn so I can reach my goals faster? So those are the two uses of time. And when I'm talking about that second use of time, I make reference to when the Bible says about the sons of Issachar. Mm-hmm. It says they were wise men that knew time and what Israel had to do. So if something can be said of you and I and everybody that's listening to us and is watching to us, is I want the world to say that you were a wise person because you knew time and you knew how to use your time and you knew what to do with time. So those are the two uses of a master strategist for time: is calculating how long it's going to take me, and then seeing is there new opportunities in this time that I can use to reach my goal faster.
Right.
And then here's the thing. Here's the final thought on that chapter is the time can be your friend or time can be your enemy. Mm-hmm. It all depends how you use it. If you use your time wisely, time will make you wise. But if you don't use your time wisely, time will be your enemy. Because our goals are always on the other side of time. You cannot reach nothing in an instant. You have to reach it daily, consistently. So you need to walk through time. And so you can make time your friend or you can make time your enemy. And sometimes we make time our enemies when we have lived through our life and look back and we said, I never did anything that I wanted to do. I never pursued the life that I wanted. I never pursued the goals that I wanted to get. I never took the courage to pursue my dreams. So time can be your friend or time can be your enemy. Which one is going to be is completely up to you. And one of the coolest quotes that I love that I wrote in the book is, may not be time the only one that leaves its marks on you. May be you who leaves your mark in time.
That's good. That's so good. Hey, we're getting a banquet here. We're getting some great insight and wisdom on leadership and strategy for our lives, for our organizations. Here's what I want to do, Javier. Before I go to maybe a couple more questions, and a few people kind of mentioned a few things here. Before we do that, I want to let people know how they can get this. Our Avail team is going to help us right now in the chat by putting a link. Because here's the deal: if you're not yet subscribed to our Avail Journal, we're inviting you to subscribe to the Avail Journal. It's a 6 months for free. This is a $25 value, but you're going to get this book for free. So you can get this book for free by signing up for the 6 months free trial Avail Journal subscription. It's well worth it. We're going to talk about Avail Journal in a few moments. But if you already are subscribed to Avail Journal and you're already part of the Avail family, you can get this book at a discounted price. You can just click on the link in the chat. Right now, our team has put that link multiple times. We're also putting it in the Facebook feed. We want you to get this book. Let me just say one thing about this book. This book is going to help you. It's called The Bridge. Why? Javier has already explained it. We all have this gap between our possibility and making our possibility a reality. We all have a gap between where we are, where we want to be, where we are, where we know God wants to take us. And so what do we got to do? We got to cross that bridge. And this book, The Bridge by Javier Cornejo, is going to help you in that journey of crossing from possibility to reality. Can I mention one more thing here? When you click on that link, you're going to see an option to go to the upgrade to the Masterclass bundle. Personally, I think it's a no-brainer, because whether you're getting it for free, because you're going to do the 6 months of Avail for free, the trial subscription, or whether you're getting it at a discounted price because you're here and you're special to us and you're going to get a good deal, I really think that you should upgrade to the Masterclass bundle, which, by the way, if you were wondering what it includes this book. It's a beauty. It's a hardback cover. If you hear that, it's a hardback quality book. The Masterclass bundle comes with the companion study guide where you're going to be able to kind of take notes and document your journey through the book. It's going to help you bring that strategy to a reality. You're also going to have access to Javier's Masterclass video series. This is 10 videos, right, Javier?
Yeah, 10 videos. It was so much fun to record them.
And you know what? Those video masterclasses always take the experience of the book to another level. So you're not just reading it, you're hearing and watching the author himself shedding some light on those chapters, shedding some extra wisdom and just nuggets that are going to help take the message home. You're also going to get the bonus session, which includes the Q&A and what we're doing right now. You're going to be able to have this and be able to go back and listen to it. That's the Masterclass bundle. So, hey, it's a no-brainer. If you want to just get the free book, you can get the free book by signing up for the 6 months trial of the Avail Journal, and you're going to get the book for free if you don't have that yet. If you're already on Avail, you're going to get the book at a discounted price. Check it out at the link right here in the chat. But here it is. If you want to get the maximum out of this, what you should do is upgrade to the Masterclass bundle. Highly, highly recommended. If you're an Avail Plus member, that actually includes the book of the month. That means you're going to be getting this as well. Other options to consider, but I think you're going to love this book. I know you're going to love it. The Bridge by Javier Cornejo. The link is in the chat. I see Tenali who says, I signed up. I love it. Thank you, Tenali. Tennille. I think I'm pronouncing it better now. Tennille. I see Samuel. Thank you for saying this is awesome. Robin, this is really good. I see people on Facebook as well. Excited to see you guys chiming in. A lot of people are gonna take advantage of this. Hey, Javier, hablamos español. We speak Spanish. If somebody says, hey, I know somebody that speaks Spanish, would prefer it in Spanish, the book, The Bridge, is called El Puente. Where can they find it in Spanish?
Yeah, El Puente, de la posibilidad a la realidad.
Eso.
They can find that book on Amazon.
Excellent. So hey, go ahead.
Let me just share a few things you said about the book. You know, it's a hardcover, but something really cool I really enjoyed is the illustrations that were made for the book. And there are war illustrations made for the book. But one more thing, at the end of each chapter, you have questions to make a strategy. But towards the end of the book, you have this that I love, is a quick strategy guide.
Nice.
So these are like 10 questions that will make you, that will give you a strategy. Even if you go through the master class, I guarantee you will be a master strategist towards the end.
Man, I think that the investment of time and heart in this book is going to produce great results. And I think some of us today needed to hear this because we know there's possibilities. We're just not sure if we can make them a reality. And Javier does a good job unraveling some of those strategies and bringing clarity, and the elements that we need to cross that bridge. If you haven't done so, click on that link in the chat. It's an awesome opportunity for people. And by the way, you can share that link. That's another thing here at Avail. We believe in generosity. So you can share that link with your friends, your family members, your coworkers, your colleagues, people that work on your staff or your team. You can share that link because they can take advantage of these offers as well, as long as they have that link and tap into the bridge. Somebody asked a little earlier, Javier, in the chat here, somebody asked, where did the inspiration come from? Like, what are some of the things that inspired you to bring this book, The Bridge?
Well, it's so funny because that's a cool question. My first book, The Story Within You, it was a book that I needed to share what I have learned in 15 years of publishing industry. So the first book, it was me talking. When I wrote this book, it was this book talking to me. like it wasn't me writing it. The book was writing me.
Wow.
But my biggest inspiration whenever I write, my biggest inspiration is my son. His name is Lucas, and you can read it on the dedication. I was actually crying as I was reading this dedication.
Wow.
Because if I have learned something, and I can help my son cross the bridge, so he can live a great life, so he can get all his dreams, so he can achieve all his goals, I'm gonna put my soul and my blood into it.
Wow.
And so that's what the inspiration for me for writing always comes from.
That's a good point, because something you just said clicked for me. Because here's the truth. You can't take somebody else somewhere you've never been. And so here's I'm believing, Javier, is that when you become a bridge crosser, you can then help other people cross their bridge from possibility to reality. And that's exactly what you just said, speaking about your son. And I say that I declare the same thing over my kids, and people that I love, right? Because I can want something for them, but it's a lot different. If I've been there and done that, if I've been able to do that, I'm going to be able to help a lot of people as well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. And you know what? That's called purpose. Mm-hmm. So most people go through life searching for their purpose, and they say, I can't find my purpose. And the question is all wrong, because it's never your purpose, because purpose is not something that comes to you. Purpose is something that comes out of you.
Right.
Purpose is not what you get. Purpose is what you give.
That's good.
So that's where you can be a cross bridger, a bridge crosser, like you said.
I love that. Hey, let's take a few moments before some closing thoughts, Javier. Let's take a few moments to mention the Avail Journal. I know that's something that you and I have both been blessed by, and I think you have one there. I think you were on the cover of one of the latest editions of the Avail Journal. Hey, everybody, if you haven't yet subscribed, you got to subscribe to the Avail Journal. By the way, if you haven't done so, you can get Javier's book for free now. Right now, use that link, and you're going to get 6 months of the Avail Journal for free. That's a value of over $25. And you're going to get Javier's book for free. All you got to do is cover shipping and handling. It's going to be awesome. If you're already on Avail, you can get Javier's book at this kind of price. But Javier, show us that one you got there. You got the latest edition. Come on, talk to us. Is that not an amazing Christian leadership magazine?
It is amazing. It is amazing. And you know what? The fact that some of my heroes are writing in here, it makes it crazy. Like, I have this article right here by my good friend Erwin McManus. I mean, wow. It's just insane. And just being there with him. There you go. Uh-huh. And just the knowledge that you get out of, the inspiration that you get out of. I mean, you cannot, if you're not willing to read, to be inspired, you can't be a leader. Because a leader is not only a person that leads, a leader is a person that inspires others. And if you're not willing to read and to expand your knowledge, you will never be able to be a great leader. So that's one of the greatest things about Avail, is the quality of the writers, the quality of the articles.
Yeah.
It's, when you read it, it's just like inspiring. Now, when I read this, I want to do more with my life.
I love it. Great content. Here's that article. Javier's article in the last edition, which is The Bridge of Destiny, how strategy can turn your dreams to a reality. And then it has a promo of that book. Here it is. Here's the book, The Bridge. Hey,
and it has some knowledge that the book doesn't have.
Right. There's some good stuff there. You want to subscribe to the Avail Journal. There's a lot of reasons to do so. Hey, Javier, this has been awesome, man. I'm so excited. I think a lot of people are going to get pumped about this, especially as they see it get into their mailbox. Those who are ordering it right now or who are clicking that link. Let's go ahead and close off with some maybe some closing remarks from your heart to everybody who's watching this or listening to this. Whether it's a little bit of advice, whether it's some encouragement, or just whatever's on your heart for everybody. I think it's great when an author and a leader like yourself can just kind of pour out and encourage people.
Well, I love what you're saying about, getting the books and sharing the books. And the reason I'm saying I think that's great is because the last chapter of the book, it doesn't have to do with the strategy. The last chapter of the book is about growth. And who you become in the pursuit of your dreams and your goals is more important than the goals themselves. So, but the more you grow, the more bridges you will be able to cross, the more mountains you will be able to climb, the more places you'll be able to go in life. So, because what you achieve, it might leave this world with you, it might not, but who you become is going to be with you always. So, if you can choose between achieving and becoming, always choose becoming, because becoming is going to help you achieve more, greater things, bigger things. So if you can grow. There's no bridge you can cross. There's no mountain you cannot climb if you're just there to try and if you're just there to grow. And that is what makes you a leader. That's what makes you who you are, is the fact that you're willing to grow into the person that will be able to achieve, to win wars, to win all the battles. And here's one of the principles I learned from this book. I told you I was inspired by this samurai called Miyamoto Musashi. And he says this: at this time in Japan, every samurai has two swords, a short sword called wakizashi and a long sword named katana. And he said, in my school, I teach them how to fight with both swords at the same time, because it would be deplorable for a samurai to die in battle, not having used all the weapons at their disposal.
Wow.
So it will be deplorable for all of us to reach the end of our lives, not having used everything that God gave us, all the weapons that we had, all the talents that we had, all the gifts that were inside of us. So if you can do one thing in your life, growth is the path to follow in order to cross bridges.
That's awesome. What a great note to finish on, Javier. I think it's evident. Everybody right now listening or watching this, make sure you click on that link. You can also go to theartofleadership.com/thebridge. Click on that link in the chat right now. Share that link with somebody, because it's going to help somebody find the bridge. Find that bridge. It's going to help them cross from possibility to reality. What an awesome conversation. You know, I think that your book, Javier, is a godsend for a lot of people. It's an encouragement. I think it's creative. I think God's given you a special ability to bring creative, relevant examples that apply to our lives. And you know, our prayer here at Avail is that this book would soar to new heights, and that both in English, The Bridge, and in Spanish, El Puente, people would be encouraged, blessed, challenged, inspired to go further than they've ever gone. Hey, why don't you I can't do this with all my guests, Javier, so why don't you take like 10, 15 seconds and encourage people in Spanish that are listening or watching?
Sure. Todos podemos alcanzar las metas y los sueños que tenemos. Nunca es una cuestión de talento, siempre es de estrategia. Así que no te rindas en el camino de todas las cosas que quieres porque crees que no lo puedes alcanzar. Simplemente piensa en la estrategia, piensa estrategia, respira estrategia y luego ejecuta estrategia.
Excelente. Muy bien, Javier. Excelente. Hey, everybody. Man, this has been so good. Javier, on behalf of our Avail team and myself and all of the Avail family, we're so proud of you, Javier, and we're so encouraged by this book. We can't wait to see what God's going to do through the book, through you, through the voice God has given you. We just bless you, brother. We honor you, and we believe that the best is yet to come. But this bridge is going to help a lot of people.
Thank you, Virgil. It's been such an honor. Like I said, it's a place where so many great conversations have happened. And just being here with you has just been amazing. So thank you for this time, and thank you for everybody that gave their time in order to listen to us.
We hope you've been motivated by this talk with Javier Cornejo. Remember, to get a copy of The Bridge, visit theartofleadership.com/thebridge. And also, make sure to claim your free annual subscription of the Avail Journal by going to availjournal.com. If you'd like to connect to our growing leadership community on Facebook, visit availleadershipconnect.com. As always, I'm your Avail Media host, Virgil Sierra. Muchas gracias. Thank you for connecting with us to learn the art of leadership here at the Avail Leadership Podcast.